We are back with another training diaries, and we've moved spots. Guess where we are? Bit of a clue behind me. Yes, we're in Wales. No, we're not. We're in Cape Town. It's been a long time since I've been back to Cape Town. I think we counted 6 years. It's been too long. It's been too long. So we thought, Windsurfing.TV is up and going now. We got to come back to the mother city and check out all the action and what's been going on around the beaches. Obviously, if you've been tuning into Windsurfing.TV, which you have, you'll have known that Australia has been on fire this year. So Cape Town's got a lot to live up to. But don't you worry, you just check out some of the action I've been filming. I've been here for 2 weeks now. And I think Cape Town is already living up to expectations. So more of that in a minute. But obviously not being here for 6 years. But I did spend about 9 or 10 years in a row coming here. So I've got a few mates and they've hooked me up. So I've got to start off by saying the sponsors of the diaries is West Coast Surf and Sport. Yes, it used to be called Bay Sports. Obviously Waggy. Anyone who's been to Cape Town and you've not been to Waggy's shop, well, I bet you haven't even been to Cape Town. You'd be lying, because this boy is a true legend. I mean, we're at the Marc Sailing Club here. If you've ever been down here, you would see him and his son, obviously Mitch. He runs Bay Graphics. It's in the same place as the shop. Actually, Mitch is he's the slalom champion in South Africa. So you're going to check these boys out. More of them in a minute. But like I said, if you are coming to Cape Town, you need some spares. You maybe need to get some teaching done. Maybe need to get your sail repaired. You can ask these boys. They've got all the sort of knowledge, or they can hook you up straight away in the shop. Obviously Mitch is doing the graphics as well, so sale numbers, any sort of sponsor stickers. I'm getting some Windsurfing.TV ones printed out at the moment, getting some sale numbers done. So like I said, these boys have totally hooked me up. I'm staying with them and we've had a good time so far. We've sunk a few beers. We even spent Valentine's Day together. Okay, so that's pretty much what's happened once I've got here. So that has been hooked up. The forecast since I've been here, we haven't had many days off. We've been traveling around the Cape. So if you've been to Cape Town, you'll kind of know the setup. It's an interesting one. So you've got basically the big mountain behind me, and that's kind of a focal point. So south of that we call down south. Yeah, it's pretty easy. And we've got Cape Point down there. We've got Scarborough, Whitsands, Comickie, and that's kind of it. There's a few others on the other side, but we don't really sell them. Muizenberg, a few of the freestyles have been there, and Fishhook. You've probably seen that on the news where the submarine, which is a massive shark, ate a couple of people. So we don't go there too often, but there is some starboard tack jumping around. But that's down south, right? Then we've got Table View, which is pretty much behind me. We've got the Marc Sailing Club. That's where the freestylers are going. We've got some serious action coming from there in a minute with the top boys. They're all here and they're all basically sail here in the morning, and it's changed a little bit, but like I said, more on that in a minute. So that's the lake, and then we've got obviously the Table View beaches, which is, well, Milnerton. People have started sailing there a bit more now. We've got Sunset Beach, which is kind of a famous beach. It's always the beach that gets the windiest quickest, and it gets very windy and blown out very quick as well. So you've got to be kind of early, or you get a late session if the wind comes in late. Sunset is the first place to pick up the wind. You move down the beach, we've got Dolphin Beach, your KFC. People are sailing there now. It used to be a kiting spot when I was here 6 years ago, but now the freestylers are taking that into a jumping spot. Doodles, well, it's actually a bar, but a few people are sailing outside there. Then we've got Big Bay. Obviously, everyone's heard of Big Bay, and pretty much everyone sails at Big Bay. The busiest, I would say, place in Cape Town. It's called Big Bay. Not actually that big. It's quite small. We've got rocks on either side, and it is crowded. But it's a fun spot. A little bit more sort of onshore smooth waves because it's protected by the rocks. That's why it gets busy. And then moving down from there, we've got Haka, which is an Italian favourite. And it's weird. The car park there can have 100 cars in it. Only 20 people on the water, but it's a bit strange. There's a lot more cars than anyone's sailing, but a great spot. It's got a point break when it's working, really clean wave, and like one of the favoured beaches for down the line riding in the Table View area. Then moving down, we've got Meltboss. Meltboss, massive beach, easy to get spread out, and nice little waves. You don't want it too big at Meltboss. And that's sort of an end of the day spot as the wind comes down the coast. Doesn't always fill in at Meltboss, but when it does, it can be awesome. So that's sort of Table View, and then we go up north. I know there's a lot of beaches, and all this is within, you know, from tip to tip, it's probably about 4 or 5 hours driving, you know, from Elands to Cape Point. So, you know, up north is the furthest north we've got is Elands Bay. That's about a couple of hours drive from here. Perfect point break. Bit too many surfers and a bit kelpy, but it can be absolutely epic. The beach break there can be seriously nasty. And then we've also got Swatry with a few people sailing up there. We've got a few spots, Paternoster as well. That's, you know, another spot that a lot of people sail, but a bit finicky, can get it a bit wrong. Hopefully we're going to be going there soon. And then we've got Langerbaan, a couple of freestylers there, and, you know, the slalom boys are up there as well. And Fontaine, that's sort of in between here in Langerbaan. I'll put a map on hopefully when I'm talking about this, just to give you an idea. And Fontaine sort of a spot when it's all blown out here in Table View, you can go up there and you can sometimes score a really nice session. So that is pretty much how Cape Town looks. Anyone who's been here obviously know all that, but that was just for you guys that have not been. So what am I going to talk about? Well, this year I'm going to start off by saying, well, I come from Australia, haven't I? So I like driving now. I don't mind a 8-hour drive. And in Cape Town, we used to rock up here and we'd look online, we'd find the crappiest car, load the thing to the hilt, and we wouldn't drive very far. We'd stay around here in Table View. But things have changed. This year, I'm stepping up. Yes, I've spent the years in the Beatles. I've spent the years in the Rent-A-Wrecks. This year, I've gone big time. I've gone to truck hire. I've gone to Kennings, yes, and I've hired myself a bloody lovely truck. And the thing is like, got about 5,000 miles on it, and I am just cruising, got the AC going on. So now we're going to do some miles this year. But I've got to say, if you are coming to Cape Town, I'm going to give them a bit of a shout out, because they do deals for windsurfers and kite surfers. All you have to do is on the phone just say, hello, Mr. Kennings, I'm a windsurfer, I'm here for whatever, and they'll give you a great deal. So if you, and they also do, I mean, this is the cool thing, they also do the transit van. Now, I haven't got the money to get the transit van this year, but I've got my eyes on that. We've got Andrea Rosati, been coming here for years. He's rocking around in the transit van. You know, Roberto Ricci, he's rocking around the transit van. So the high rollers are in the transit. I got the Backy, which is the next one down, but still sick. And then you've got down to, you know, other things. But so that's what I'm rocking this year. And we've been going down south. So first up, we're going to check out Scarborough. Now this place, it's famous for the point break. You need it big for that point break to work. And when it works, it's one of the best waves in Cape Town. Unfortunately, since I've been here, the point break hasn't been working. But the beach break, it's not really talked about. It's not usually that busy, but it's a hell of a wave, super clean. It gets very windy there, but you get this really nice sort of pitching wave, and it's just carnage, absolute carnage. So it's perfect for Windsurfing.TV. So I rounded up a few of the boys the other day and we went up there just to film some lip action. Yes, mind out for the lip! Yes, that is the feature of the week. Sponsored by Lip Sunglasses, the best sunglasses on the market. But mind out for the lip this week. We have got so much lip action. And we've had a few casualties. Adam Lewis, actually the day before I filmed this, ended up tweaking his ankle in that shore break. I turned up and Moritz Malk, he'd already sessioned his knee and whatever else. And then while I'm there, we've got Gustav Hagström, a young ripper from Sweden. And he was tearing it up when I got there. He's like launching really nice aerials. He got one-handed aerials. I mean, I seen him even go for the head throw aerial. And then just as we were ending the filming, he took this nasty crash, you know, came up to the lip. And as he hit it super late. It smacked the board. His foot came out the straps and he's flying through the air one-footed. And he came down super nasty. You can't quite see it on the video, but his other leg somehow sort of got tangled up with the fin, and the way it hit it, it was just like an impact hit. So he was hobbling up the beach, looked pretty nasty. I thought, oh my life, he's done some damage. We get the camera out. Well, it's not exactly a big wound, is it? But you can see, I mean, I've had one of these before. I remember jumping off this boat into the steps, slid through the steps and nearly broke my leg. And I remember the impact, and I think it's similar to this really big smash on the shin. But he was in a lot of pain. So that was the end of Gustav's session. But the boys bandaged him up. He was a bit worried about getting infection. They all banded him up and he had to sit it out for the rest of the session. But much more action from this one. We had Jules Denel and the French boys. I mean, they turned up in a pretty loaded car and they were going for it. And Jules got some super nice waves. Obviously, really good sailor, Jules Denel. Just getting some late hits, some nice aerials. But obviously, that lip causes some problems, and even Jules Denel was having a few late ones and having to bail out, and yeah, it was quite tasty. A couple of his mates had a couple of scary moments as well. Who else was out there ripping? Well, there has to be, for me, one standout at the beach that day. Yeah, my teammate, simmer rider Marc Pare. He just looks on fire this year, and he was trying out a few different boards, but whichever board he went on, he was still making it work. Just getting some really nice long waves from the point, getting some late lake aerials just right under the lip and just getting punched right out. Even making some goiters, which is super hard, like at Scarborough, because it's quite offshore and super windy. It's really hard to get back in, but he was making the goiters count as well. But he definitely had a few tangles with the lip. The first one that I can, that springs to mind is the rocket aerial. It's like a rocket man, full aerial, like into orbit. He's coming down, said he looked below him, saw the lip, and he's thinking this is not going to end well, so just, let's go, and just bombs through the lip. Oh! Jesus! You can just see him just go straight through the top of that thing. And he had a little bit of a swim after that. He also had just the nastiest of nasty crashes. I think I was kind of trying to film everyone, or Moritz I think might have been filming at the time, and he sort of gets one nice hit, comes up, another one, and then that last section, it's bowling up. Does he back down? Oh my lord. Nah, of course he doesn't. He goes late, but just gets back-winded and the whole thing twists inside out, and he just comes down. You're like, ah! Oh, it's nasty. This place just doesn't take any prisoners. It just dismantles you. And lots of other action from there. I went out, it was a bit windy, I was a bit worried actually after seeing Moritz hurt his knee and Gustav do that, so I just took a couple of ones before we moved down to Whitsands. I should really mention Marc Pare over the handlebars. That was like standout moment, old school Dunkerbeck style, where you're still holding onto the boom, feet out the straps. Again, another late hit and just pitching it straight over the top. He must have done that 3 or 4 times just because he's going so late. So that's good to see. Marc Pare absolutely smashing it. After Scarborough, it's not very far, so you can go down to Whitsands. So when it gets too windy in Scarborough, it kind of funnels through. It gets too windy there for offshore riding. You can move down to Whitsands, which is literally 2-minute drive, let's say, and then you get like this cross onshore, just massive jumping. Yes, that's right, I'm talking massive. And again, it's that man, Marc Pare. We were I was kind of following him around that day, but like I said, he's sailing so good here, it's just criminal not to film him. So, big back loops, yeah, that was the order of the day. He goes out and he just skies this absolutely huge backy. Then, next run, huge forward, just massive, just huge. And you're like, he's got one of the best stall forward styles in the business. Taught him everything he knows. But yeah, just look at that forward. And then obviously we've got the massive bales. So you just go up, the wind catches the kit wrong and you've got to chuck that stuff away. And it was like 4.2, absolutely hanging on. It was probably 3.7 weather, but Marc was on his 4.2. So then you've got most of the 3 jumps there. But yeah, we're missing one thing, aren't we? some huge rocket airs. Look at these things. I did actually think maybe it's time for a Rocket Man League. We used to do a similar thing in Board Seeker where we timed each jump, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to start off the Rocket Man League. I might even time one of these jumps now just to give you an idea of what the sort of standard is. Maybe we'll get a few of you guys to send some stuff in at home. So just huge jumping at Whitsands. But it's not all about jumping at Whitsands. Although jumping is good, there is an inside bowl, which is pretty nasty, and that doesn't take any prisoners either. Julian Salmon, he came out trying to show Marc Pare a thing or two, and I tell you what, attacker on the inside. So Julian Salmon, a young guy from Tenerife, pushing pretty hard, but he had a little bit of a slight issue with the short break after, and we didn't see him for the rest of the session. But Marc was still there, not to be outdone, had a couple of nice big 360 just getting punted in, a couple of spin rounds as well, but he's looking really good. Also got a goiter on that onshore stuff, not easy. But he is just, I tell you, watch out for him in the PWA this year. He is coming strong, and he is Mr. Keen right now. If you want someone to go out there, just go, Marc, straight out, and just busting out the moves. The Horrocks brothers turned up. So Dave Horrocks just turned straight up the plane. I caught up with him quickly. He told me he had an absolute mare. Kit came off the roof, flying down the motorway, kit scattered all over the place. Shocker, total shocker. Don't have any pictures, but just imagine that scene, driving to the airport, all your new gear, haven't been to Cape Town for about 6 years, same as me, and the whole stuff, just hears a noise and the whole stuff's all over them. Disaster. Anyway, so Dave going out there, get a bit of confidence, bust out. Pretty nice backy there, isn't it? So Dave Horrocks straight in with a backy, probably helped sort him out, and then he comes into the shore break, and he takes off, and then he does the magic trick. Yeah, check that out. Disappears. How to make yourself disappear. Just straight down the mine shaft. Whole sail just disappears. I bet you can't do that trick at home. And then Phil Horrocks, obviously better known Phil Horrocks. He used to do the PWA. Still a good sailor. He's been out busting the jumps, but he had a nasty smackdown on the inside. Just check out this shore break. Oh, that is a pretty nasty hit. Just come up, smacks him straight down. Oh. So there you go. So that's pretty much Dan Saff. Yeah, Dan Saff. That's Scarborough and Whitsand. We're probably cracking on for time now, so I might actually leave it there. I do have some epic footage from here at the lake, but I'm going to have to leave that one till the next train diaries, or you're never going to get this one. It's going to take me too long to edit, and the wind and the waves are coming, so we've got to move on. So let me just leave it there for that issue. But next one, we're going to see Stephen van Broekhoven just absolutely nailing double air kulos. Yentl Cares on his new sponsors, Point 7. He's been busting out the moves. We had Anton Albert, we had Nick Hibdidge, we got Marker as well. We got a load of guys all busting out the tricks here. So stay tuned. The next episode will include a freestyle special here at the Reap Fly, if that's how you call it. I'm just going to call it the lake. All right. That's what I'm going to call it. So stay tuned. Windsurfing.TV is back in Cape Town. The mountain, the iconic Table Mountain. I've got to say, we were having a beer last night with Andreas Alanderson. Getting a bit sentimental, you know. I never used to notice it too much when I was here last time. We're having a beer last night, we're like, oh, it's so beautiful. Times have changed, boys and girls, times have changed. I'm just looking at the scenery going, oh, this is a lovely place. Anyway, stay tuned. Cape Town is on fire, and we're going to bring you more action next time. You've been watching Windsurfing.TV.